Welcome to another segment of Buckingham Business Review. I'm your host, Bonnie Wolford, founder and president of Buckingham Associates. We have a video magazine, and this is about the intersection of strategy, tactics, and people. And we've been doing a series on the subject of blogging. And I am very excited and pleased to have with me in the studio today Bonnie Ruszczyk. Bonnie is with BBR Marketing. And we've asked Bonnie to come on and share with us some of her knowledge and experience with this subject of blogging. So let's just jump right in. Bonnie, welcome to Buckingham Business Review, and let's begin by giving our viewers a little description of BBR. Who are you guys and what are you up to?
Sure. Thank you for having me today.
My pleasure.
This is fun. BBR Marketing is a marketing firm, obviously, that focuses primarily on professional services providers.
Okay.
So we offer a broad range of services, but we do it for a very narrow market. So our clients tend to be accountants, attorneys, engineers, IT consultants, people who are typically selling what's in their head and also hate to market. So
Been there, done that?
Yes.
M1. So let's superimpose the subject of blogging over that market and these professional services. Does it have a role? Is it important? Are some using it? What are your recommendations to someone who's asking the question, how does blogging fit into my marketing and PR efforts?
I think for most it actually is a very good idea. My first question typically is, who are you trying to reach? Who is your audience? And based on the answer to that, we can help create a blog or direct the content of a blog so that it's reaching its intended market.
Okay. So if the answer is yes, blogging does have a role, my next question as a potential client, I guess, is, well, how do I start? And what's the frequency and how long should it be? What sort of guidelines do you coach your clients with regard to some of those questions?
There's definitely some guidelines, though they're guidelines and not rules.
Okay.
Typically you do want blogs tend to be short and they tend to be a little casual, as opposed to what you would think of as an article in a magazine. Typically, you want it to be long enough that you can communicate a message. So our rule of thumb is always, more than 250 words, probably no more than 750 words. But, there's always give and take in that. And as far as, frequency, I was reading some statistics on HubSpot recently that I found really interesting, and don't hold me to the exact percentages, but it was something to the effect of if you blog at least once a week, your chances of turning a reader into a client are somewhere north of 70-75%.
Wow.
If it's once a month, it's closer to 30-32%. Okay. So there's a big difference there, and frequency is important.
Frequency matters. In our second segment, we're going to drill down into some of the key success factors and some mistakes people make. But
Sure.
but in general, if I come to you and say, Bonnie, I want it to be effective from day one. I don't want to be too long. I don't want to be too short. I don't want to sell, yet I want to establish myself as an authority. Do you write it for me, or do I get someone to ghostwrite it for me, or do I take a stab at it? I mean, what is that first recommended step, sort of generically?
My first question back to you would be, do you like to write?
Okay. Okay.
We have clients that who love to write, and this is kind of their creative outlet, because if you're working with accountants and attorneys, a lot of times it's a very methodical and specific task that they have to do, so writing becomes something that they enjoy.
Sure.
Though I would say more often than not, you have a lot of clients who get excited about it, start the blog, and about 4 to 6 weeks in are like, oh my gosh, I got to write another blog post. What am I going to do this week? So we actually do a huge amount of ghostwriting for our clients too. So, that way they can keep it going and they can download their information and get value out of it. But, they have the assistance in putting it together.
Very good. Well, we're visiting with Bonnie Ruszczyk of BBR Marketing on the subject of blogging. And in our next segment, we're going to get down into the weeds and talk about some of the real key success factors and perhaps some real mistakes to avoid in her experience. So thanks for joining us on Buckingham Business Review, and we hope you will join us for a second segment with Bonnie.